Hello, welcome students. Today we are going to look at the poem Dover Beach, which is there in class 11th and 12th ISC. This poem has been written by Matthew Arnold, and he is one of the greatest poets of Victorian age of England. He has a place just next to Browning and Tennyson. Although he was a son of the principal of Rugby College, but his education was quite erratic, and he has written many poems in which he has mainly depicted the confusion, the pathos, the loss of faith which was there in the people of that age, of the Victorian age. And this is reflected by some of his poems like Sohrab and Rustam, Dover Beach, and The Scholar Gypsy. Now, about this poem, let's first see what this poem is about. This poem is actually written by him in order to reflect the state of confusion and the loss of faith in the minds of the people. The people are living a hopeless life. They have loss of faith in God and in religion, and also their life is full of doubts, confusion. Why? Because they have lost faith. When you do not have any faith or you do not have any trust on anyone, naturally your life will lead to a life of confusion and doubts. So in this poem, first of all, we are introduced to a scene. A vivid description of that scene is given, in which the poet is standing beside the window of his house, and he is looking outside over the Dover Strait where the moonlight is shining. And here the sea is also calm, which has been described. Later on, as the poem advances, we see that the poem, instead of becoming descriptive, is becoming reflective, because it is reflecting the mind of the poet and the mind of the people. Here the sea now becomes a symbol of, initially it was a symbol of faith, but then it becomes a symbol of hopelessness. And it is because the light of the moon is quietly receding, so it becomes a symbol of hopelessness, in which the people have lost faith in God and religion, and they are leading their life astray. They do not know where to go. Their main aim of their life is lost, so they are living in a life of doubt and confusion. They have lost the main purpose and the meaning of their life, why they are on this earth. So the world looks beautiful, but it is deprived of joy, love, hope, and certainty, as well as peace. Ultimately, the poet feels that only love is the only thing that is the main solace in this atmosphere. That is why at the end he talks to his beloved. In although this poem is a dramatic monologue, but it is always felt throughout the poem that he is talking to his beloved. So ultimately, at the end, he talks to his beloved that they should remain loyal to each other and have faith in each other. This will be the only solace in this period of time, which is a period of confusion and doubts. Now let's look at the poem. So now let's look at the first stanza. The sea is calm tonight, the tide is full, the moon lies fair. Upon the straits on the French coast, the light gleams and is gone. The cliffs of England stand glimmering and vast out in the tranquil bay. Come to the window, sweet is the night air, only from the long line of spray. Where the sea meets the moon blanched land, listen, you hear the grating roar of pebbles which the waves draw back and fling. At their return up the high strand, begin and cease, and then again begin. With tremulous cadence, slow, and bring the eternal note of sadness in. So, here in the first stanza, we are told that when the poet is standing at the window of his room, he sees that the sea in front of him on the coast is quite calm. The waves are high, but the sea is quite calm, and the moonlight is shining on the strait of Dover Beach. This Dover Beach is actually a connection between English Channel to the North Sea. So he sees this, and then he says that It seems as if the moonlight is coming and then immediately vanishing away, then coming and then vanishing away, because gleams and is gone means on this French coast, that is the Dover Strait, the moonlight is sometimes coming and then vanishing away, which shows that initially the people were having the strong faith in them, strong faith towards religion. But now, gradually, this faith is flickering. That is, it is shaking. The people are losing faith gradually. The cliffs of England stand glimmering and vast. So he tries to compare that the French coast is unreliable as compared to the English. The main faith that the people can find is in England, where the cliffs of England are straight, tall, strong, and glimmering and vast. The moonlight is there permanently, which shows that if any faith, any light of hope or faith is found, it is found in England only. Out in the tranquil bay, come to the window, sweet is the night air. So he says that this, although the bay is quite calm, then he invites his beloved to come to the window. This is a dramatic monologue in which the beloved is not going to talk to him, his sweet wife, but he is inviting her to come to the window and see the entire scene. Only from the long line of spray where the sea meets the moon blanched land. Then he says that actually here he sees a famous white cliffs which are composed of chalk, and chalk, as you know, is made of limestone, which gradually erodes. So the fact that they are eroding again is an indication that the faith of the people is gradually decreasing. So two things are there which are telling us that the people are losing faith. One is the moonlight is coming on the Strait of Dover and then vanishing away, which means once the faith was strong, now it is vanishing. And second is the white cliffs in which they are made up of white chalk. That chalk is also quite gradually eroding. This eroding also shows that once the faith was strong of the people towards religion, but now the faith is again flickering, it is gradually decreasing. Then he says that instead of looking at the beautiful landscape, his attention is caught towards the specific point where the sea meets. That is why he says the moon blanched land. Now, here the white light of the moon, when it falls on the sea, makes it white in color. So the sea also glimmers in white color. And these few lines at the end, at their return of the high strand, he says that the waves of the sea, they are coming towards the shore, leaving out pebbles over there, and when they return back again, they take the pebbles along with them. So this sound of grating sound as it is given in the poem means the sound of the pebbles which are coming on the shore, and then again some of the pebbles are again picked up by the tides of the sea. So this shows that the endless movement of these sea waves, they show that there is eternal note of sadness in human beings. Now the human beings are living a life of sadness as they have lost the faith completely. Second stanza says Sophocles long ago heard it on the Aegon, and it brought into his mind the turbid ebb and flow of human misery. We find also in the sound a thought hearing it by this distant northern sea. Now, here who is Sophocles? Sophocles was actually Greek tragedy writer. When he was sitting on the shore of the Aegean Sea, immediately the thought of human misery occurred in his mind, that human beings are also leading a life of misery. The same thing here, Matthew Arnold is telling us that he compares human misery to the constant motion of the sea. The turbid ebb and flow phrase that has been used is the when the high waves they come towards the shore, leaving the pebbles, and then they go back. When they go back, the receding waves, they indicate the loss of faith in human beings, and now they are leading a life of sadness. And there is a great human misery which is present now in the people. Stanza 3. The sea of faith was once at two at the full, and round earth's shore lay like the folds of a bright girdle furled, but now I only fear its melancholy long withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of the night wind down the vast edges drear and naked singles of the world. So here the poet is saying that he is comparing sea, the calm sea, with the sea of faith. When the people used to have a strong faith in Christianity and religion, but now as the tides of the sea are receding back, similarly the faith of the people has gone away, and now they are filled with despair and hopelessness. So he compares a sea which wraps the lands and the islands all around. That means once the people were wrapped with the strong emotion of faith in them, but now it has gone, because according to Darwinism, according to Charles Darwin, which was the concept that human beings, which actually brought the concept of religion into conflict with science, due to which now the people have lost faith in religion and they are moving towards the scientific world. So he challenged the concept of theology and religion. Who? Charles Darwin. Now here the sentence that we are seeing is its melancholy long withdrawing roar. Now melancholy means sadness. So now human race is moving towards the concept, towards the environment of sadness, and this roar could be heard inside them. So the poet, he refers to the idea of world being covered in naked shingles. Naked shingles means if you draw the curtain or the you can say the drape of faith from the people, nothing is left except for sadness. So sadness is there, which is you can say explicitly seen everywhere when they are deprived of their faith. Last stanza says, "Ah, love, let us be true to one another, for the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy nor love nor light, nor certitude nor peace nor help for pain. And we are here as on darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night." So then he turns to his beloved and says that, promise me that we should be faithful to each other and true to each other. This is the only light of hope left in us. Because although the world from the outside looks very beautiful and full of joy, but actually it is not so. It is, you can say, it looks like a land of dreams, but actually it is not so, because here there is no joy, no peace, no love, no light, no help for pain for the human beings. It is just like a battlefield for the people who are struggling here and moving, you can say, turning against each other and fighting with each other. So he says that the ignorant armies, they clash by night means the people are fighting with each other without knowing the reason why they are fighting with each other, because now they are living a life of doubt, uncertainty, and hopelessness. So they do not know how to carry on their life and what dreams or what aims to pursue in their life. So ultimately, he feels that love is the only light of hope that can save human beings from such, you can say, haphazard condition. So in this poem, we come to know that although the sea looks calm, which was once a symbol of faith, now the when the tides are receding back, it means the faith of the people is shaking, and it means they are losing faith. Why? Because of the Darwinism theory, which has challenged theology and religion, and so the people are turning against religion and moving towards scientific approach, due to which they have lost the faith which once they used to have in Christianity and in God. And then he says that since everybody is losing faith in religion and there is no hope for each other, the people are turning against each other and they are trying to fight against each other just like a battlefield. Though the world looks beautiful from outside, but it is not so, because there is no hope, no peace, no joy, and no help for pain. So, love is the only hope which is left in order to survive in this world. Now, let's look at the theme. So, the theme of the poem is loss of faith in God and religion. As we have read the poem, and initially also I have told you that yes, it was due to the scientific discoveries that were taking place in Victorian era, in which Charles Darwin had given a theory that human beings have been evolved through various ages. So people were distributed into two groups. One of the groups said that Charles Darwin's theory is atheism, that means having no belief in God. The others had considered that no, Charles Darwin's theory is according to God, that God had created man in such and such way. Due to which, immediately the people began to feel that they have been abandoned by God suddenly and they have lost faith in religion because they could not find the way out by such discoveries which were taking place in science and technology. So, here, loss of faith in God and religion is indicating that the people have lost complete faith in God and in religion due to the scientific discoveries that were taking place. Most of the people were moving towards a scientific approach. Love as a last solace is the second theme, in which, according to the poet, in such a world of or in such an era of confusion, doubt, and having no help, he feels that love is the only supporter, or love is the only solace that can save a human being. So he talks to his beloved that we should be true to each other in such a world which looks beautiful from outside but has no faith, no hope. So according to him, the world is just like a battlefield in which each and every person has turned against each other and are fighting with each other. And this poem is actually a dramatic monologue in which only the poet is talking and describing what his feelings are, though we feel the presence of his beloved also, but there is no dialogue for that beloved. Poetic devices my enjambment has been used in the line like, listen, you hear the grating roar of pebbles which the waves draw back and fling. If you look completely, listen, you hear the grating roar is not having any full stop and so on. It is continuing to the next line. This is enjambment. Then pathetic fallacy is there, which is the literary term for attributing human emotion is there, in which what the human being is feeling from inside has been depicted by the lines, begin and cease and then again begin, with tremulous cadence, slow and bring the eternal note of sadness in. Here, completely it has been depicted in these lines that the human beings the faith of the human beings is flickering, and in such a way that it is gradually decreasing, and now they are moving towards sadness. Their life is moving towards sadness because they are in doubt and they have no hope. Then assonance is there. It is a use of words that have same or very similar vowel sounds near one another, like it's melancholy long withdrawing roar. So this is assonance. Then anaphora is there, in which repetition of a word or expression has taken place. So various, so beautiful, so new. So has been repeated in anaphora. So I hope this poem is clear to you all, because this poem is showing us that human beings have lost faith. So what is the final refuge for it is love, which becomes a source of solace for each and every human being. Hope you have understood this, and if you have understood it, you can press the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.